The following is for entertainment purposes only. We are not financial advisors. We are not responsible for any losses, only the profits.
Well, what's happening, Octo fan? We're taking a look at a cool one. I've actually had this due diligence done. This thing was scripted out for like a month or two. I just haven't got to it. I released it to the folks, to the patrons and all that. So we've been buying this up, but it's starting to climb with a lot of things right now. I was like, dude, it's time to get out. I think we got a couple of SPACs. A lot of SPACs have kind of peaked out though. Like these ones, kind of like this that. I don't know, they're going up. They just don't stop going up, and it looks like we're peaking. So I think we might get some of the non-LOI SPACs out there kind of dying back down, especially the ones that aren't 100% EV. I think people are going to be taking that money and then putting it into some that's EV. I mean, imagine if we get CCIV, people are going to take it from here and put it to there, stuff like that. Regardless, we might have a decent position, I think, tomorrow or the next day. So it's probably a good time to get this out. Company is znte Acquisition, znte. Got a $200 million MERS, which is about perfect. Half warrant for the units, great. Got the website here for you. Ticker znte for me. They're targeting companies in the aviation, aerospace, defense, urban mobility, and emerging technology sectors with an enterprise value of $750 million or more. I think that's a sweet spot for what they're going after. Anything you get too big and you can only be selective, and then those companies are just worth too much and they're too cocky and they won't even talk to you. So, as we said, it's gonna go aviation. A lot of these guys and girls that are in here are like industry buffs for private jets and stuff like that. So I was even thinking, man, a private jet company would be cool. But then I started thinking macro about it. These guys know what they're doing. They understand cool factor for sure. So I could see it going to EV, and then I thought about some of the targets in that. We'll get that in a second here. But also aerospace and defense. So any space play does really well. I'll take any of that. Urban mobility and emerging technologies, you know, they can do a supplemental LiDAR or anything. I hope it's not LiDAR. I'm over it. Is anyone else over LiDAR? I don't know. Industries that can benefit from the differentiated working proprietary deals that they have flowed throughout these guys' bloodstream through their global network. Team for this absolute rock star. If you wanted like a rock star private plane group, this is it. These guys are too legit to quit. Kenneth Reese, this guy has worked on the Air Force ROTC cadet at the University of Notre Dame. That's where he was hanging out. He's also at Nextent Aerospace, the inventor of aircraft remanufacturing. This guy's got a cool background. He basically started, he's one of those guys that kind of came from not much. You know, he did a little bit of, you know, military stuff, but then he just instantly started climbing. He's always an entrepreneur. Even in school, he was an entrepreneur in the aviation industry. He's well known in the whole industry. Great guys. He has been named the living legend of aviation. Right? How about Steven Rosen? He's the chief executive officer here. Again, same thing. You know, great background, MBA from Weatherton School of Management. He's worked for Crawford United Corporation, Amfin Financial. As an investor, Steven has granted 6 patents by the United States Patent and Trademark Office. So this guy's like the smart kind of book. I'm guessing not as much as the front man as the first guy. Super duper smart though. Super duper smart. Michael Rossi. Lots of R's there, right? He's the chief financial officer. Of course, he's been good. He's got, for Mercury Air Centers, 24 FBOs were ultimately sold to Macquarie Infrastructure Trust in 2007 in a deal valued at $650 million. So why did I bring that up? It's because he's dealt with big deals before, right? CFO that's also been in the area of aviation too. He's also working in directional aviation capital. Come on. Mr. John here, who's a chairman of KPMG International. He's on the board of trustees for the University of Notre Dame. So we got a lot of Notre Dame blood in here. And Committee for Encouraging Corporate Philanthropy. That's great. About Larry Flynn, this board of directors guy. Flynn has been the senior vice president of marketing and sales for Gulfstream Aerospace since 2008. Y'all know anything about Gulfstream? Ever heard the song Feeling So Fly Like a G6? People talk about G6s. Private planes. Gulfstream is like the industry standard private plane. If you can get a G6, you're doing all right, okay? Beautiful plane. Look at that baby. a G. Y'all heard of a G? There you go. How about Gerald Moreno? This guy has worked at BAE and General Dynamics. He was the president and CEO of BAE Systems. He also serves as an executive director of an independent BAE system, so he's worked his way up there. He's developing operational performance of 11.7 billion in information systems and technologies through ISAT Group, leading 44,000 employees. You know what we're talking about, aviation top dogs. All right, let's get into where we think we can go. General Dynamics, what is that? This is one of the companies helped build up. It could be something like what these guys do, or even this company. Saying they got innovation spanning every sector. This one's kind of like more of like a military thing, but General Dynamics is a global aerospace and defense company. It fit perfect. From Gulfstream business jets, they make business jets, and combat vehicles to nuclear-powered submarines and communication systems. People around the world depend on our products and service for their safety and security. Pretty neat. You can see here, I mean, even General Dynamics awarded 4.6 billion United States Army contract for latest configuration of Abrams main battle tanks. Crazy, right? European Land Systems awarded follow-on order for Patrol and Renaissance Eagle vehicles. It's like a big old Hummer beefy thing. Pretty neat. Here's BAE Systems. This one's kind of neat. Here we got the Tempest, which is the Future Combat Air Systems. It was like the plane. Then they got stuff like innovators, new perspective from R&D teams. They've got like some weird virtual reality glass stuff. I don't know. It could be some rad technology that one of these companies makes. Shown here towards a digital shipyard technology for shipyards. Research into acoustic cloaking wins annual iCase awards. So acoustic cloaking is basically where you can get these basically pods that go around your ship, and they send off stuff for radar to bounce through and off. So if someone were to send out radar trying to get it to bounce off something, these make it so you're untraceable from other people's radar. So weird techie stuff like that. Virtual reality training for the toughest challenges. So you can like train people for flying and stuff in these big virtual reality things they make. This one's kind of cool. Probably some AI. I know they have AI stuff in there for sure. Yeah, fully auto driving vehicles and battlefield simulation. So auto driving tanks. Pretty neat. Other targets that would work. So this is a company, maybe about a month ago, they came out and they said that they're looking to go on the stock market, probably via SPAC. Who is it? Lilium. So I think this would work totally perfect. Why? It's all electric regional air mobility. So we got electric planes here, people. Pretty sweet. So it's like a plane taxi. And these guys seem pretty far along. You know, I don't want to go too far into this, get too long on this video, but this is something that could end up being huge. I mean, even just think about like military stuff, man. If they could get one of these that auto flies people somewhere, or like what if there was like a battle zone where a couple soldiers were down and they could send in one of these, an unmanned plane, to come and land and pick that soldier up and then take off. So that way, if the plane gets shot down, at least the people in the, you know, the drivers and stuff, there's no drivers, so at least they're safe. I don't know. Tons of stuff you could get into with this. I think it's neat. This is kind of, it reminds me of like the Blade. Remember the Blade one that came out, the helicopter company? Well, they were saying like maybe in the future they might have some electric stuff, but my problem with that is I was like, if they were just electric, I think it would do really well, but they're not. But these guys are from the ground up. So this is way more up my sleeve, what I like. This other one here, Zero Avia, the first practical true zero-emission aviation powertrain, accelerate the world's transition to sustainable aviation, starting with a 500-mile short-haul trips at half of today's cost. Novel approach removes many limitations of the current zero-emission program. $100 billion market in faster, safer, cleaner. Disruption creates 100,000 plus units demand over the next 10 years. It's there. But look at this. Now, I haven't done a lot of research in this either, but I can't tell if they're like retrofitting the planes or if this is custom built from the ground up. Does anyone know? But I mean, you can definitely see they're showing the front end skeleton of it. I'm guessing that's oh yeah, there's a refueler said hydrogen, so we got maybe a hydrogen play with it. But dude, if you can fly private and do it without emission, I don't know. Maybe imagine like the what California would pay you for a electronic vehicle, like payback for this, you know? Because if they're doing it for cars, like what, 10,000? Maybe they'll give you 100,000 off of these. Well, I don't know. But they're saying 75% lower fuel and maintenance costs. Can you imagine the maintenance costs on a plane, resulting in up to 50% total trip cost reduction, which is absolutely huge. So either of these, I think, would be kind of neat. I think it's time to get an airplane, right? Pretty neat. And moving on from there, this Zero Avia, the other article I found in this, which really piqued my interest. Check this out. So the hydrogen-powered vision for aviation nets $21.4 million from Amazon Shell and Bill Gates backed fund. So we got Amazon and Microsoft backing this thing. That is huge. So that alone, I think, is worth an extra 20-30% up on the price, which I'll take. So if you can get in this and bank off that, I'm all for it. One other thing to note, which one of our patrons brought up, is znte is the shortest cycle SPAC. They gave themselves only 6 months to find a target instead of the typical 24 months, and they only have 4 months remaining. That blew my mind. I can't remember. Has there been another SPAC that's been only 6 months? We've seen 12, I believe, and definitely 18-month SPACs, but these guys out the gate are like, dude, we only need 6 months. To me, that totally says, it's one of those ones I talked about where before they started this, they already had 1 or 2 totally in the bag. And they're like, we're not going to tell them we're working with 2, but we're going to push this through. We'll at least get 1 done. 6 months is what they gave themselves. And we're like halfway there. This could announce it any second. Could announce in an hour. I don't know. Pretty interesting. Did I miss any information on any of these plays? Please put it down in the comments. If you haven't subscribed, please do it. It definitely helps out the channel. And please share this video with your friends. Have a good rest of the day. Take care.
Did you know that we give away free silver? Simply leave a comment on the video, and as long as you're in the continental United States, you can be automatically entered to win. Please friend us on Twitter and StockTwits.